So in this segment, we're going to be talking about UK scientists fearing a brain drain as Brexit rows put research at risk. So this is predominantly to do with the Horizon programme, which the UK is meant to be a part of, because that was part of the negotiations in the Brexit deal that we got. The UK has, I believe, paid into the Horizon programme. I could be wrong, but there are issues with getting funding for the projects, with a lot of people thinking that the UK playing games over the Northern Ireland Protocol has led the EU to play games over Horizon, which is not great. I disagree with it, but the problem is with Brexit, you give away sovereignty and power to the EU, and you've given power away to the EU when it comes to Horizon. So British science is facing the threat of a highly damaging brain drain that could see scores of top young researchers leaving the UK. In addition, the future of several British-led international projects are also in jeopardy following a delay in funding by the EU. So the money goes into a pot, and then the EU is meant to delegate the funds out. Senior scientists say the UK's scientific standing is at risk, while others have warned that major programmes, including medical projects aimed at tackling global scourges such as malaria, face cancellation. There is a real prospect that bright young scientists will decide it will be best for their careers to leave the UK, said Martin Smith, head of the policy at the Balcombe Trust. At the same time, if research partnerships involving the UK break down, Britain will no longer be seen as a reliable scientific partner. UK science will struggle, and what he says makes sense, that scientists might look at the situation and say, look, we need to get these grants, or we need to get on with these projects. I'll have to go to the EU, to an EU country to do that, and of course they're going to face problems with getting visas, etc. But it probably is easier to do that than it is to hope this situation gets sorted. British science is threatened because of the government's ongoing rows with the EU. After Brexit, ministers had agreed a deal that would allow Britain to continue to play a major role in Europe's vast research programme Horizon, but the subsequent failure of talks over Northern Ireland has led to a major delay with this arrangement. As a result, dozens of scientists given grants earlier this month as part of this year's round of EU funding had their offers revoked, which again I think is very wrong of the EU to do this. And I know I'm going to get comments saying, oh, you voted Brexit, blah, blah, blah. But when you have an agreement in place with Horizon, I think the EU should honour that, just as I think the UK should honour the Northern Ireland Protocol. It doesn't have to be petty. We got a letter congratulating us because it had been decided to give our malaria project €8 million or £6.7 million, a grant from the EU's Horizon programme, said Professor Chris Drakeley at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. His team had put together a research programme aimed at identifying people infected with the malaria parasite Plasmodium vivax, which can lie dormant in a patient's liver for years before triggering illnesses. I mean, that's a ticking time bomb. That's terrifying. We were delighted, said Drakeley. It had been hard work putting together the project and setting up the partnerships in Africa. Then a couple of days later, we got a new letter saying the UK was now ineligible to take part. And you could argue, well, the UK could fund these projects themselves. But I think the idea behind Horizon isn't just to bring, for pots of money to be given out to people. It's to create collaboration between scientists across the EU. And you could argue the UK is no longer part of that, which is true, but we are part of the programme. It's not just EU members that are part of Horizon, it's also certain non-EU members as well, third countries. I believe Switzerland is part of it. Drakeley is now trying to find new partnership deals within the EU to ensure the project can proceed. We are ploughing on in the hope it's going to go ahead, but it's very uncertain, he told the Observer, so potentially he would have to move to an EU country to get this thing going. And, EU scientists are also against this as well, the way Horizon, kind of what the EU is doing, because, scientists really want science to progress, and they don't care much for nation states or the Northern Ireland Protocol. What they want is things to progress as quickly as possible, because they want to get to the new breakthroughs, not just because of pride and awards and things like that, because most of these guys and gals want to help the world. The EU has two main approaches to research funding, which it implements through Horizon funding scheme. One is to give out highly prestigious European Research Council grants to individual researchers. The other is to provide awards to groups of institutions which wish to combine forces for research, such as the malaria project. So, these scientists got together, got a big collaboration, as well as certain places in Africa to help out, to get the research done, and then the EU kind of pulled it from under them. After Brexit, the UK agreed to pay 15 billion over 7 years to remain in these schemes. The deal agreed a year ago was greeted with relief by British scientists who have a strong record in attracting EU funding, because we have a lot of great universities in the UK. Of course, the EU does as well, but they specialise in different things. This would allow them to continue with projects in a host of different fields, from medicine to physics, but now the agreement has been suspended. There is a growing fear that the impact on British science could be hugely damaging, a brain drain. British scientists are now in a position where they are getting no research funding from the EU and no funding from the UK to fill that gap. I suppose the British government would argue we paid, this 15 billion into the Horizon programme, which is meant to get dished out to, scientists in the UK as well, whoever qualify for it. But I think the UK should plug this gap in the meantime. Things are going to fall apart and really harm UK science around the world. We are a global superpower when it comes to research. We are now throwing it away, which Brexit did. No one can argue another case for that. It will also lead to a loss of trust and potential partners in future collaborations, because say, for example, you're a university in Berlin and you want to collaborate with a university in Southampton, and you've got everything set up, and then suddenly the funding gets pulled because of, the EU doesn't want to grant funding to a UK university, and then your collaboration with Berlin falls down. That sort of thing could happen. Nor is the danger confined to hard science. The British Academy has pointed out about a third of all UK archaeological research is funded from Europe, while classics, law and philosophy also get substantial support in this way. And again, these are things the British government doesn't really care for. That's why typically I think the EU kind of deal with this funding rather than leaving it to nation states who are going to fund things that might try and boost their own country. The EU have done it in a way where they're going to give the money to what can benefit the EU the most, or the globe the most, really. If that source disappears, then we would face a real risk of triggering a brain drain, said Hetan Shah, Chief Executive of the British Academy. The government has said it's trying to find ways to make up for any funds that are lost to researchers in the UK, but that's not happened, and it really should have happened by now. However, the uncertainty is causing damage, say senior scientists. They point out that ERC grants are so prestigious, receiving one represents a boost to a young researcher's career. Essentially, that would be something they'd put on their Wikipedia page or their resume, that, I received an ERC grant, which shows kind of their status in the science world and their status in a project that they worked in. A cash substitute is unlikely to be attractive enough to keep many of their recipients in the UK, so these grants come with prestige, and simply just giving the money away doesn't make it right. You can't measure prestige in financial terms. This point was also stressed by John Dainton, founder of the Cockcroft Institute, a centre for particle accelerator research in Cheshire. It has attracted dozens of top young researchers across the world over the years. Now it's all under threat, Dainton told The Observer. Young researchers won't see any reason to stay and work in a country that hung itself off the edge of Europe and is drifting into the Atlantic without a direction. Is extremely worrying. It's quite funny the way he's phrased it, but I guess he's saying that scientists wouldn't work in a country that's not part of Horizon, because part of one of the reasons why scientists might have come to the UK from third countries is that we were part of Horizon and they can get access to funding like that, but obviously now they can't. A government spokesperson said the UK stands ready to formalise our association to EU programmes at the earliest opportunity, but disappointingly there have been persistent delays from the EU to reassure researchers and innovators. The UK has guaranteed funding for the first wave of eligible successful applicants to the Horizon programme who've been unable to sign grants from the EU. So the UK government has guaranteed funding for the first wave of programmes, so hopefully this malaria project can get underway and they can really make great changes to the world and help people who have suffered from that specific parasite of malaria, which, again, I'm going to end this video on the conclusion of I don't think what the EU Commission has done is right here. That we have, the UK government have signed up to the Horizon programme. So long as we have paid into the programme, I don't think the EU should be doing this. And if you want to say, no, the EU has a right to do this and blah, 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 because of the Northern Ireland Protocol, then fine. I think that's a dumb take, especially because I think that the UK should adhere to the Northern Ireland Protocol as it has been written today. If there are problems, then that's something where Liz Truss and Sefcovic have to figure things out, and the EU have been willing to make concessions in this area. And so I think it's only reasonable that we should have from the start accepted the bits of the Northern Ireland Protocol and implemented it as best we could. just as I think the UK should remain a part of the Horizon programme, so long as we have paid into it and it's agreed by the UK and the EU, we can be a part of it. If the EU say we don't want you in the programme, that's fine. That's very different to, oh, you're in the programme, but we're not going to give you any funds. I think that's very different. But you could, for anyone who's trying to argue it's the UK government who are getting mad about this, it's also scientists as well from both sides, scientists in the EU and scientists in the UK as well. So it's very hard to argue that the EU aren't in the wrong here. And I think there are certain people in the Commission who are being very petty. But this is what happens when you sign away your sovereignty. It allows people to be petty, and you can't really complain about it that much. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.